just a small testimony so that I can continue. I, at some point in my life, I also became deluded. Of course, I grew in an Adventist background, and there was this church. You understand, there is adventurers. You go there, pathfinder, all that. So you are committed to the Lord. But remember, at the same time, as a child, you're being led to teachings and all that concerning God. So you feel that connection with God in some way. But at the same time, I was going to a school. And I'm not saying that going to school is a bad thing. It's a good thing. But we should also, if we have children, we should also monitor them so that they are not so much corrupted. So I was going to church. I was being told that God, there is God. He created heaven and earth. In school, as a young man, as a child, aged around 10 to 14, I was being told that we were not created. In fact, at some point, we were Egyptopithecus, I don't know, Australopithecus, all those things. Now, as a child, something was happening in my mind. I was like, now, who is telling me the truth? Is it my teacher? And you know, as children, when you're told something by your teacher, you tend to grasp it with all your might. Even when your parent tries to correct you, you won't agree with their parents, because you always know that the teacher is right. So as a child, I was so much confused, like, should I follow my church teacher or my school teacher? Who is saying the truth? So there is that kind of corruption that was happening in me, and I believe it is also happening in very many children. You know, when such a topic comes, the evolution thing comes to, is being taught actually in all schools. When such a teaching is there in schools, and it is not being taught to maybe people who are in university, people who, the people whose minds have developed to an extent, then it tends to catch up, or maybe the children grow with it. Because at that tender age, it's not easy to distinguish between truth and lies, between things that are real and unreal. I can remember at around the age of 8, I was once told by my father that there is an issue with the chicken and the, how do you call this? This bird that usually eats the chicks. And I was told that the issue is because these children, the chicken lost something that belonged to the bird, and that's why the bird has vengeance and always comes to take the vengeance on the chicks of the chicken. So I was told that the bird lost, the hen, the chicken, lost a razor blade that belonged to, they were friends, but he lost a razor blade that belonged to the bird. And because the relationship broke after whatever he was given, the razor blade got lost. So the bird, is it an eagle or something? Usually the eagle usually comes for revenge. So at that tender age, I can remember, I was trying to grasp this story that I was given by my father, and I was like, why does this eagle come and take these young innocent chicks? They are not the ones who wronged the eagle, but this guy usually comes and takes them. And I was told, actually, that's why when I was told the story, that's why the chicken is usually facing down looking for something. At that tender age, I believed everything that I was told. Okay, so I believe that the chicken, when you see the chicken scrubbing or scratching the ground, is looking for that razor blade. And at one point, I was tempted to take my razor blade and put it somewhere so that the chicken can get it, return it to the eagle, and then this conflict ends. So I was so empathetic with such an example, with that story that I was given. So, okay, of course, I did not do that. I didn't take the razor blade and put it there, but maybe if I did, I would have realized that it was not the razor blade. And the razor blade was not the issue. But what am I trying to say? That at a tender age, children tend to believe things that they are told. And those things stick with them. So when we are taught such things, such as evolution in our schools, it tends to grow in us, and eventually, when you get to higher learning institutions, then there's a chance you might throw away your relationship with God. It happened to me. I believe, actually, when I was in campus, that's around 2016, 2015 to 2018, and some few years also after campus, I became totally lost. I can tell you, brothers and sisters. I stopped believing in God. I was doing something related to science. We were studying the Einsteins and all that, the equations. And some of the things that we were learning is about the theory of relativity and all that. And the more you continue studying such things, you realize that there is some possibility which is put in there that you can travel in time. You can move backward in time. You can move forward in time. And I became so much obsessed in campus. I became so much obsessed with this issue of traveling forward in time and backward in time. Remember, some of the things that we are taught there, or that you learn as you're studying that, is that the energy that is required for that to happen is so massive that it can destroy you. But I was there struggling so much to find a way, or maybe to think beyond Einstein and come up with a way that can enable me to travel either forward and backward in time. Remember, I don't have money to do that. It requires resources, but I was so much deluded and focused with the science issue. And by the way, before I continue, my firstborn is called Einstein. I named him after that guy. You can imagine the accent of my yeah, I named him Charles Einstein. Charles after my father, and Einstein after the guy whom yeah, I was so focused much on. So at that time, I can tell you, brothers and sisters, that I was so much deluded, focused on science. I stopped believing in God. I can tell you the truth. I stopped believing in God. You could tell me something about God and I could rubbish it off. Yeah, I can say I almost became an atheist because, yeah. So what am I trying to say? In search of my own wisdom, trying to do things my own way, I became deluded, lost focus, forgot about God in trying to move forward in time. But once I think it is about 2021 or 2022, then something happened and I came back. And let me tell you, the moment I lost, the first thing that happened to my life is I lost focus with God. And then now the things that I hated, they became dear to me. I could not see before going to campus, I could not see someone smoking. I usually felt bad for those people. During that time, I smoked, I can tell you. Marijuana, everything. I drank. At one point, after drinking, I found myself in a situation where I vomited 3 days nonstop, and I did not eat anything. Even when I tried drinking water, I could vomit it. 3 days without anything. Anytime I tried to take anything inside, I vomited. Now, the things that I hated when during that life, when I was in the church and all that, of course, I never knew Christ like I know him right now. I never understood many things, but at least I had a relationship with God, even though maybe there were some veils here and there, the Trinity issues and all that, but at least there was something pulling me to God. But the moment I lost focus with God and began focusing so much on science, all the things that I hated as a Christian, I loved them. I defiled my body, not just in spirit, even this physical body, I destroyed it. I used things that were damaging to me. But later on, okay, I did all that in search of self-wisdom. I used to think that I was becoming wise when I'm doing those things, while doing all those calculations about the theory of relativity and the rest. But they never helped me. I try to move forward in time, backward in time, without resources. Some science. And now I think I feel like it's some science fiction, because whatever I was studying, I could not move forward or backward in time, especially some good time, that is assuming 30 minutes and above, and some 1 hour backwards or forward, without crashing this body. It could not happen. With all the thinking around the black hole and all the issues, that could not happen. But now coming back, I've realized that God has a way of taking us forward in time and backward in time without us crashing this body. It's called prophecy, brothers and sisters. All you need is the Spirit of God, the Spirit of prophecy, and you can see the future. You can go forward without your body being crushed. Wow, I never saw this while searching for self-wisdom. Yeah, so that is my brief testimony.